When the police cruiser eased to a stop right in front of my driveway, I figured they were just turning around. Quiet, dead-end street. 68-year-old man sweeping his own porch in the middle of a Tuesday morning. Hardly the picture of trouble. Then the officer climbed out, looked down at his notepad, and said the most ridiculous sentence I'd ever heard in my life. "Sir, we've received a report that you're trespassing on HOA property." I stared at him, then at my porch, then at the hand-carved cedar sign I'd pounded into the ground the day I moved in. Private property, non-HOA. Trespassing on my own land. I'd only been here 8 days. 8 days earlier, I thought I'd finally escaped HOA hell for good. Let me take you back a minute, because this didn't come out of nowhere. For 15 years, I live in a neighborhood run by the kind of HOA that treats a blade of grass 1/8 of an inch too tall like a federal offense. They sent me certified letters because my old glory was 3 inches larger than regulation. They threatened fines because my 8-year-old granddaughter drew a hopscotch court in pink sidewalk chalk. They once measured my mailbox post with a ruler and wrote me up because it was off by 1/2 inch. After my Mary passed, those pale yellow violation letters started feeling like punches to an already bruised heart. I was done. The day I sold that house, I swore the only requirement for my next one was simple: no HOA, ever, under any circumstances, not even the voluntary ones that charge $6 a year for petunias. My realtor, God bless her, must have shown me 100 listings. Every time she started with "this one is perfect," I cut her off, HOA. If the answer was anything except a hard no, we moved on. Then, one February morning, she called me practically giggling. "Tom, I found it. Brick ranch, big porch, mature oaks, cul-de-sac, and the county plat map shows it sitting completely outside any HOA boundary. Zero. Nada. I was there in 20 minutes. The house felt like it had been waiting for me. Wide driveway for my Silverado, wraparound porch deep enough for 2 rocking chairs, and every document on earth. Deed, survey, tax map, zoning certificate, screamed the same thing. No covenants, no restrictions, no HOA. I closed in 30 days. Moving day was pure joy. My son Mike and his boys ran through empty rooms like it was Disney World. My daughter Sarah unpacked my coffee mugs exactly where Mary used to keep them. Even my old neighbor Ray drove 3 hours to help wrestle my workbench into the garage. We ate pizza on the floor that night, grease stains and all, and nobody worried about getting fined for it. Sarah hugged me and whispered, "Dad, you're finally home." I believed her with every beat of my tired heart. I should have noticed the woman standing at the end of the street that day, watching the moving trucks with a clipboard pressed to her chest like a shield. At the time, I thought she was just being nosy. Turns out she was taking inventory. The next morning, I was out front sipping coffee, admiring a lawn that was finally mine to mow however I pleased, when a black Escalade rolled up slow and deliberate. The back door opened, and out stepped the clipboard woman. Pastel suit, heels that clicked like Judgment Day, hair that didn't dare move in the wind. She smiled the way a cat smiles at a cornered mouse. "Good morning. You must be the new owner. I'm Diane Whitlock, president of the Willow Creek Preserve Homeowners Association." I blinked. "Ma'am, this property isn't in an HOA. That's the only reason I bought it." Her smile never wavered. "Oh, I'm afraid that's outdated information. According to our most recent amended plat, this entire cul-de-sac now falls under Willow Creek Preserve jurisdiction. Technically, you were required to submit a residency application before occupying the premises." Occupying the premises. My own house. I kept my voice level. "Diane, I checked the county records myself. This lot has never been part of any association." "County records can lag behind private covenants," she said sweetly. "In the meantime, your driveway, lawn, and walkway are considered common area easements. Any modifications require architectural review." She tapped her clipboard. "And right now you're in unauthorized occupancy." I felt my blood pressure do things my doctor would not approve of. "Lady, get off my land." Her eyes narrowed just a fraction. "Mr. Bennett, if you force us to escalate, it becomes expensive. Very expensive. Especially for a widower living alone." That last part landed like a threat wrapped in silk. I stepped forward until her expensive perfume burned my nose. "Don't ever come back on my property uninvited." She didn't flinch. "You'll wish you'd been more cooperative." Then she climbed back into the Escalade and parked across the street, engine off, just watching. 30 minutes later, I'd had enough. I marched over and rapped on her window. She lowered it 2 inches. "You planning to sit here all day?" "Only until you comply with association protocol." I dialed 911 right there in the street. She smiled the entire time I was on the phone, like she knew something I didn't. When the cruiser finally arrived, her SUV had vanished. The officer who took my statement just shook his head. "HOA ladies, man. We get this crap all the time. Civil matter. Not much we can do unless she puts hands on you." Civil matter. Those 2 words were about to haunt me. The next morning, I opened my front door and almost tripped over a thick cream envelope slid underneath. No stamp, no return address, just my name in perfect, angry handwriting. Inside, official notice of unauthorized occupancy. It listed my driveway, porch, mailbox, and front walkway as association-managed common elements, and threatened daily fines if I didn't submit a residency packet within 24 hours. I laughed so hard the neighbors probably thought I'd lost my mind. That laugh didn't last long. Over the next week, the harassment became a slow drip of crazy. A compliance volunteer photographing my trash cans. A woman pretending to jog who stopped every lap to measure my grass height with her phone. Texts from block numbers. "You can't fight progress, Tom." Then the police showed up again. Different officers this time. Same story. Report of unlawful occupation on HOA land. Diane stood at the curb wearing sunglasses and a smirk sharp enough to shave with. I brought the cops inside, spread every document across my kitchen table. Deed, survey, plat map with the official county seal. They radioed it in, came back 15 minutes later, and told Diane in no uncertain terms to leave my property. She left, but not before hissing, "This isn't over, Mr. Bennett." She was right. A few days later, a neighbor named Ed knocked on my door, holding a plate of brownies and a warning. Turned out Diane had been president for 8 years and treated the neighborhood like her personal kingdom. She'd been trying to swallow our little cluster of non-HOA homes for the last 4, submitting fake boundary amendments nobody voted on, harassing holdouts until they sold cheap to a mysterious LLC that flipped the houses and, surprise, suddenly they were in the HOA paying dues. "She's done it to 3 families already," Ed said. "They just get tired. You're the first one pushing back hard." I slept about 4 hours that night. By sunrise, I'd made 2 decisions. Cameras everywhere and a lawyer who ate HOAs for breakfast. The cameras went up the next day, front, back, sides, driveway, porch. Motion alerts straight to my phone. The lawyer, Laura Jenkins, took one look at Diane's fake plat map and started laughing. "This isn't even good forgery, Tom. No county stamps, no engineer seal, lines drawn in red Sharpie. She's been constructive annexing properties for years. It's fraud." Laura filed complaints with the sheriff, the county planning department, and the state attorney general. She requested every scrap of Willow Creek Preserve paperwork, meeting minutes, budgets, boundary submissions. Diane lost her mind. First came the final warning, letter threatening physical removal of unauthorized structures, my fence, my mailbox, my life. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, my doorbell cam caught the money shot. Diane and 2 goons in matching black polos marching up my walkway like they were about to serve papers on Pablo Escobar. One guy actually cracked his knuckles on camera. I didn't open the door. Diane leaned into the Ring camera. "Mr. Bennett, open up. We're here to conduct a mandatory compliance inspection." "Go away. That could be arranged permanently," Knuckle Guy muttered. I was already on the phone with the sheriff's non-emergency line. Deputies arrived in 8 minutes. Diane tried her clipboard badge routine. The deputy wasn't having it. He checked the county database on his laptop right there in my driveway. "Ma'am, this parcel is private property. No recorded covenants. You're trespassing. Leave now or go to jail." The color drained from her face so fast I thought she'd faint. The goons practically ran. Diane stood frozen until the deputy took one step toward her. Then she screeched off in the Escalade, tires smoking. 2 days later, Laura called me laughing so hard she could barely talk. Tom, you're not going to believe this. The county just forwarded Willow Creek's financials. Diane's been paying thousands every year to something called Oakmont Consulting. Guess who owns Oakmont Consulting? Don't tell me. Her husband. Post office box in the next county. Every time she forces a new house into the HOA, dues go up, Oakmont gets paid for landscape advisory services, and Diane gets a kickback. She's been running a racket. That night, at 7:18 p.m., Diane lost whatever was left of her mind. She came flying up my driveway on foot, hair wild, waving a stack of papers, screaming loud enough to rattle windows. You think you could destroy me? I built this community. I stepped onto the porch. You built a scam, Diane. You have no idea who you're messing with. Actually, I do. The sheriff's on the way. Red and blue lights were already flashing at the end of the street. 2 cruisers and an unmarked detective unit. Diane turned ghost white. The lead detective walked straight past her and me. Mr. Bennett? We need to speak with Mrs. Whitlock regarding multiple counts of forgery, filing false instruments, and wire fraud. She started shrieking that I'd ruined her life, that I was the criminal, that they couldn't arrest the president of the HOA. The detective cuffed her right there on my front lawn, while half the neighborhood watched from their porches. As they put her in a back seat, she screamed one last time, "You'll never be part of this community." I looked her dead in the eye. Thank God for that. 3 months later, the investigation wrapped up. Diane resigned in disgrace the day the grand jury indicted her. The county voided every fake boundary amendment she'd ever filed. Oakmont Consulting got shut down. For families who've been bullied into selling came forward. 2 are suing to get their homes back. Ed threw a block party the night the indictment hit the news. No permission slips, no color-approved decorations, no fines for loud music after 9. Kids rode bikes in the street until midnight. Somebody set off fireworks they definitely didn't get architectural approval for. I sat on my porch with a cold beer and watched my grandkids chase fireflies across a lawn that was finally truly mine. I learned something through all this, something I want every one of you to hear loud and clear. You don't have to be young or rich or loud to stand up to a bully. Sometimes all it takes is one old man who refuses to blink. So tell me in the comments, have you ever dealt with an HOA tyrant, a corrupt official, or just a plain bully who thought they could steamroll you because you were older, or alone, or tired? Did you fight? Did you walk away? What would you have done in my shoes? I read every single comment, and I want to hear where you draw the line when it comes to injustice in everyday life. Drop your stories below. Let's get this conversation going.